MS affects a lot of young people who are perhaps at that family planning stage of life, and this may, of course, impact their treatment choices. I'm actually 10 weeks pregnant myself, so I'd love to speak to you, Natalie, about your experiences being pregnant whilst having MS. So what was your experience with being pregnant whilst having MS?
It's strange because when I was told the possibility that it might be MS, I was a bit, I didn't know what that was. So I just wanted to focus on the pregnancy. But it was strange because I didn't have any symptoms. The first one was, I think, optic neuritis on my right eye. So when that had gone away, that was the only symptom I had. So funny enough, my neurologist said that it could have been the pregnancy hormone that had suppressed the symptoms, because once the pregnancy hormone left my body after, I think it's about a month, that's when the symptoms started to come, and then I had my first relapse. I actually had a good pregnancy, to be honest. I didn't have any problems at all.
Yeah, they say that the pregnancy hormones can help relieve your MS symptoms. It's meant to kind of improve, isn't it, your chance of relapse whilst you're pregnant. So I guess that's one good thing.
I was one of the lucky ones that it doesn't happen to everyone. So
yeah. Well, so far my MS symptoms have been under control, so that's a good sign. Maybe we should be pregnant more often.
So tell me a bit about your experience, being pregnant and being on Tysabri.
Yeah, so I chose to go on Tysabri because of the family planning element, that it's pregnancy safe up to, I think it's about 32 weeks. You can also continue it when you are breastfeeding, I think, as well. The only thing I didn't realize is that when I became pregnant, it would change to be every 6 weeks rather than every 4 weeks. I kind of assumed it would still be exactly the same. So that was a little bit of a shock, because any kind of change in your treatment, you feel a bit worried about relapses and how that will affect you. But it's been good so far. I've had 2 rounds of treatment since being pregnant, and symptom wise, it's all been okay. So I feel lucky to be on a treatment that's pregnancy safe. Do you have 2 children, don't you?
I have 2 children, yeah.
So were you on treatment for your second child?
Yeah, because when I got my diagnosis after he was born, I had an option between Lemtrada and Tysabri. I don't know if I was in the right headspace at the time, but when they gave me an MRI, they realized that the lesions had become more and had then spread other areas of my brain onto my spine. So I had to act quite quickly. It was a matter of time. So even though they gave me the choice of which one, I had to be quite fast with it. So I chose, when they told me about it, I chose Lemtrada because it was only 1 infusion the first year. And then the next year is another infusion around the same time as the first one. And then that was it. But with Tysabri, I would have had to come in every 4 weeks. And I just felt like that would remind me that, oh my God, I've got this illness. The only downside to Lemtrada was that I had to stop breastfeeding because it's a type of chemotherapy and it would affect the baby. So I think that was the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I felt like in a way, was I being selfish? Because I just didn't want to feel like that. I had to stop breastfeeding. Luckily, my son, he quickly picked onto the bottle quite quickly. So that was okay. So I could actually start sooner than what was arranged. But yeah, I think that was a difficult part, was just choosing that treatment.
Yeah, that's an emotional journey with the MS side of things, and then also the giving up breastfeeding. That's really hard. It's a bit confusing, the information, because I know that even with Tysabri, on paper they say it's breastfeeding safe, but my MS nurse actually said that they recommend not restarting it until you've finished breastfeeding. So they are basically saying it's not safe either. So I kind of feel, although it's ages away, I feel a bit similar in that, am I going to have to make a decision about whether I want to go back on treatment to prevent a relapse, because your risk is meant to be much higher after labor, isn't it? And not breastfeed, or breastfeed and not go on the treatment. It's a really difficult decision.
If you're interested in finding out more about MS, why not subscribe for more of our videos?